Yeah, it's your boy 6 Cents. Let's go. Yeah, you know what it is. From the moment you come over the bridge, and I'ma show you some shit. 8 million roaming the strip, and I hope you ain't alone in the crib. Yeah, you better believe that. It's where you get seeds for the cheddar and cheese at. Put your feet up if you're putting your seat back. Even veterans see that.
I hear y'all.
Brooklyn, downtown to the west side. Ain't no other place in the world, you heard, let's ride. If you in the whip and roll it down the left side, hold it in your chest right, knowing it's the best size. Oh yeah, we ride on the train. Every passenger is different, but we grinding the same. So I remind them again, every rhyme is a game. Feeling square, but the time hasn't changed. You know why? Cause they cleaned up shit, and all you rappers better team up quick, cause we don't need this shit. This is for every tenement settlement. It's elegant, knowing our relevance is our intelligence. And if I didn't bring my toast, get shot up and end up in the NY Post. Nope, your boy's one hell of a NY host, and I ain't even gotta boast, cuz take the scenery in. Matter of fact, take the greenery in, and then you see in the spin. Come once, never leave it again. The beats sound like the D, but
this video is all about New York. So let me see what I can find.
In dear old New York, it's remarkable, very. The name on the lamppost is unnecessary. You merely have to see the girls to know what street you're on. Fifth Avenue beauties and dear old Broadway girls, the tailor-made shoppers, the Avenue A girls. They're strictly all right, but they're different quite in the different parts of town. In old New York, the peach crop's always fine. They're sweet and fair, and on the square, the maids of Manhattan for mine. You cannot see in gay Paris, in London or in Cork, the queens you'll meet on any street in old New York. Whatever the weather is, shining or showery, that doesn't cut any ice on the Bowery. Every night till broad daylight, they dance and sing and talk. The girls are all game and they're jolly good fellows. They're not very swell, but they're none of them jealous. They go it alone in a style of their own on the Bowery in New York. London or in Cork, the queens you'll meet on any street in old New York. In old New York, in old New York, the peach crop is always fine. They're sweet and fair, and on the square, the maids of Manhattan for mine. You cannot see in gay Paris, in London or in Cork.
New Amsterdam is New York. Named New Amsterdam by Dutch colonists. New Amsterdam is part of New Netherland. Fort Amsterdam, now the Battery. Notice the name above, Noel Amsterdam. Now Noel, aka New Amsterdam, 1672. The English captured it and renamed it New York. Yet fakes were being made to show it still under Dutch rule. And this is Lisbon, Portugal, actually being passed off as New Amsterdam. You gotta ask why. The British Navy arrived in 1664 and easily took control of the New Amsterdam without a fight. Stuyvesant tried to motivate the settlers to fight back, but the British were much too powerful. And that's a picture of Peter Stuyvesant in 1664 standing among residents of New Amsterdam who are pleading with him to surrender to the British who have arrived in warships to claim the territory for England. So English ships sailed into harbour to attack New Amsterdam. The New Amsterdam settlers were already mad at the governor Peter Stuyvesant, refused to fight and petitioned Stuyvesant to surrender. So he surrendered and retired to a farm in the area known as Greenwich Village. Dutch colony becomes English colony, named the colony New York in honour of the king's brother, the Duke of York. Citizens were offered safe passage back to Europe if they didn't want to be British citizens. No one left. They all became British citizens. So we've had New Amsterdam, we've had New York, but let's go a little bit further back on that. Well, obviously the land belonged, well, they don't say they belonged to it, but the land of the Lenape. And the legendary purchase of Manhattan Island from the Lenape presumably took place in the area known as Inwood Hill Park. So the actual name for the island, Manhattan, was Mannahatta. And I'm just going to read out what that actually means in English. Mannahatta, the Lenape, Manhattan's original inhabitants called the island Mannahatta, which means hilly island. So you have it, guys. New York was known as New Amsterdam, New York, then before that, Mannahatta. So New York is named after James II, the Duke of York. That got me thinking. I know you might be thinking that is very, very, very dangerous, Paul. But bear with me. Right, New York, right, is comprised of 5 boroughs, an unusual form of government used to administrate the 5 constituent counties that make up the city. They are Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Staten Island. But that got me thinking. We've already talked about the Scottish Rite, the 33, but that got me thinking. As soon as I heard York, I automatically thought, York Rite. And this is what I found in regard to that coming up. So guys, you just saw me show you the James II, the Duke of York, and then you should have seen if he edited it right. New York counties, districts or boroughs that we call them over here, and they total 5 in number. Now that got me thinking. I'm not going to say too much now on one bit because it's further on in the video. But as we've just been talking about the Scottish Rite in 33, as soon as I heard it was named, New York was named after the Duke of York, it got me thinking, wow, I wonder if there's any link with York and the York Rite. And obviously this is historical documents from the University of Bradford, and some of them are going back to 1911, sometime ago in 17th century. But there's something I just wanted to show you just quickly. It's just further down. Is it any coincidence? It's not listed now in the sense of degrees, but in the time it could have been. I just found it interesting because if you think about it, a county governing you, and you're living there and they're governing you. So it's a local form of government. So when I found this, I went, wow. So the degrees governed by the Grand Lodge of All England at York were 5 in number. Enter apprentice, 2 fellow craftsman mark, 3 master mason, 4 royal arch, 5 knights templar. It says the subordinate encampments warranted by Grand Lodge of All England were KT encampment, Rotherham, July 6, 1760. So, you know, you're going back a fair good years. But you have 5 districts or counties and they're governing you. And in the York Rite, from what you can see on the screen, the degrees who governed by the Grand Lodge of All England at York were 5 in number. Can that be a coincidence, or have they made the 5 districts to govern each county in accordance with this? It's just a thought, and I had to show it because I just thought, wow, 5 degrees and there was 5 counties. So there you go, guys. There's another little tidbit from myself. So I can't do a video on New York and not talk about the Statue of Liberty and who I think it is. Now I want to show briefly in a sec who other people theorise it is, but I want to show you who I believe it is and the reason why. Because I researching for this video, I've been blown away. I know I say that a lot, but I'm wowed with the evidence. Like I said, it's just my theory and I'm not stating it's fact. But instead of saying it's this and this, I've actually got evidence to back my theory on to who or to whom it is. And I wasn't expecting it. But guys, wait till you see. So we all have our theories on to who the Statue of Liberty is. We have Apollo, aka the Colossus, and there's good thinking for that because it does remind you of that. Then we have the theories of who it should have been. An Egyptian lady and a Moorish lady holding the lantern are just a few that supposedly it should have been. We have Ishtar, the goddess. We have Inanna, and we also have Hecate, who I've talked about a lot in some of my old videos, the goddess of the threshold. But her torches have been equated to the planet Venus. So that got me thinking, who is the Romanized version of all of those names? It's none other than Venus. Now I'm going to show you why I believe it's Venus, and you're going to be blown away. I was absolutely blown away. But you have to remember that Venus is also the Virgin Mary, or her other name, Stella Maris, means star of the sea. So as I've just said, Venus is usually associated with the sea and water, and the morning and the evening star. Like Our Lady, she bore the name Stella Maris, Star of the Sea. But wait, what is the Statue of Liberty standing on? Wouldn't be a star, would it? So we have Venus and the Virgin Mary, known as Stella Maris or Marie, Star of the Sea. And the Statue of Liberty is standing on it. You're probably sat there thinking, is that it? Is that the only reason you believe Statue of Liberty is Venus, because it stood on a star and a star fort? I mean, it's a good theory and all that, Paul, because I can see why. Star of the sea, the oceans around it, the sea. Yep, I can see why. But have you got any more? Well, remember the date the British took over, September the 8th, 1664. Well, I have an online book, and the information that I found out about Mercury in regard to Las Vegas beneath the neon pointed to a certain, and I'm going to go to that now and just show you. It's a wow. And then from there, obviously, I'm going to show you everything that I've found. And guys, it is a wow. A few of my friends have seen it and they're in the same boat as us. Wow. I just, it makes sense now. So why do we believe it's Venus? And it's because of this. This is the evidence. Well, one part of it. There's going to be more. And I want to show you the actual book. The description, if anyone wants to read it for themselves, is Juno Cabello, Perpetual Calendar of the Fellowship of Isis. Isis is another name for Venus, Ishtar, Inanna, Aphrodite, and so on. So they're all one and the same, but obviously to different cultures: the Arcadians, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, and so on. They all have different names. Now, for the information that I found in this and other videos, for instance, remember the video about the crown? I talked about pails in Palestine. Found it in this book. Beneath the neon about Mercury, the festival on that day, I found in this book. So you can see why it's wow information. You can take it on board. You can just say, you know, you can deal with it how you want. I just found it fascinating that I'm talking about now Venus being Venus. And Venus is all of the above, and Mary, the Virgin Mary, etc., star of the sea. And look what date it is on the 8th September in this. I couldn't find this date in anything else, so I don't know where these people have got this information from. I'm not stating it's facts. I'm just, you know, giving you a heads up, guys. I just found it fascinating. Have I gone past it? Looks like you have. I've just zoomed it in, you know, so you can read it on yours, and I'm not going to read it all out because it's not a great deal of information in it either. I will be honest, it was just the actual date. There we go, guys. So remember, the date of the British taking over was September the 8th, and look, Saint Anne, which is the grandmother, supposedly, because I've not met her, of the Virgin Mary and Jesus, obviously the mother of Mary. So September the 8th, the day New York was founded, it went from New Amsterdam to New York. That day is associated with Saint Anne and the Virgin Mary, who is star of the sea, who is Venus, Ishtar, etc., etc. And that is just by what people have said. Don't people be head spinning because I'm saying this and this. I'm just showing you information on what people are saying and how it's connected to this. And I found it fascinating that on that date, September the 8th, it's Saint Anne and the Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary is also known as Ishtar, Inanna, Star of the Sea, Stella Maris, and also Venus. And what is the Statue of Liberty stood on? A star. So this is the start. This is when I first went, wow, I've got something. Instead of me just saying, yeah, standing on the star, it's got to be Venus. Finding out that the day itself was founded to New York is St. Anne and the Virgin Mary. Tell me that's not wow, guys, because it is to me. So as you can see, I believe it to be Venus, but I believe it to be Venus Clochina. And why is that? Because you can see Venus the purifier, a fusion of Venus with the Etruscan water goddess Clochina or Clochina, how you want to pronounce it, who had an ancient shrine above the outfall of the Cloacia Maxima. Originally a stream, later covered over to function as Rome's main sewer, the shrine contained a statue of Venus, whose rites were probably meant to purify the culvert's polluted waters and noxious air. Pliny the Elder, remarking Venus as a goddess of union and reconciliation, identifies the shrine with the legendary episode in Rome's earliest history when the warring Romans and Sabines carrying branches of myrtle met there to make peace. Now, if you remember, in the 19th century, we have the Statue of Liberty being brought over, and why? Why do you believe it's Venus and Venus Clochina? Because it's a purified Venus, the purifier. You had cholera epidemics in New York in 1832, 1849, 1866. So it's just my thinking that if you're having so many cholera, and obviously that's passed on with bad water, bad food, contaminated with feces, etc. They brought in the Cronxon viaduct, and if this is a purifier gesture, and they, you know, to purify the air, the water, that's why it was brought in. They started building the not the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty in September, again 1875, and it was unveiled in October the 28th, 1886. Now that day again is connected to Venus too, and I'm going to show you that now. So the day it was unveiled, October the 28th, remember 1886, well, October the 28th, as you can see, is a day to Hathor. And obviously Hathor, and as you can see from this picture, and I'm going to show up in a sec, is another an Egyptian version of Venus. Now, come on guys, That day is Hathor's day, and the Egyptian Venus, in all her encompassing name of Hathor, represents the matrix of the metaphysical, spiritual principle, providing spiritual nourishment, healing, joy, love making, music and cheerfulness. So Hathor, again linked to and is known as the Egyptian Venus. I'm not going to say that word. Coincidence. So here's more proof. This is Venus Clochina. Does it look familiar? Let me put a face down of the Statue of Liberty at the side. Come on guys, that is a statue, isn't it? It's identical to me. So what, I'll be fair and I'll put up another coin with a slightly different angle. There we go. There's another coin of Venus Clochina. Look familiar? Again, I'll put a face down of Statue of Liberty at the side. To me, it can be identical. That's just my opinion. But wait, here is a shrine. Now, does her pose look familiar? Here's a coin, and I'll put the other picture back up because it's a bit closer. Does it not remind you of anything? Some say it could be holding flowers, some say it could be a torch. But this is the evidence that I was talking about all together that is making me believe that the Statue of Liberty is Venus and Venus Clochina. And you can see why I think that, guys, can't you? I've just talked about the iconic Statue of Liberty and Venus. Now we get to another interesting building that was put in the World Trade Center footprint, and it is the Oculus. I did a video on it a long time ago. I'm going to show you some clips from that video now, but just look at it. What does this remind you of? Now, the answers are after the clips. Right guys, this is where I'm going to unveil what I think the Oculus is. Is it me, or is the Oculus a Venus flytrap? Come on guys, there is Venus again appearing in New York. We have the Statue of Liberty, now the Oculus, both Venus. Every year on the 11th at 10:28, the skylight is opened. 10:28 equals 11. That's the Roman god Janus's number. Highly significant, that it's a gateway number. I'm going to show more around and underneath the Oculus, but I can't talk about obviously the Oculus without 9/11. Now in my Lemuria, Rome, the Masons 33 the Dead, or my video, I actually show you that a Roman festival for the dead happens on May the 9th, May the 11th and May the 13th. All those numbers are synonymous with what happened in New York, so I could not leave that out. And as we know now, New York, the date it was founded by the British, adds to 33. So does 9, 11 and 13. So here's the clip from my old video. So here's the wow bit for me, the 33. Now, like I always say, it's up to your interpretation, your perspective. You might not see this, you might not agree with it, and that's cool, because this is just what it's all about. But look at the dates. You have 9, you have 11 and 13. That adds to 33. Tell me that's not in your face. And we're talking about this festival. You're seeing the connections now with this festival all around the world. Its implications to Lemuria, and people say that is where we all came from. So if you wanted to make 33 a significant number in Freemasonry, this is what you would do. 9, 11 and 33. That's the festival dates in Rome. 9, as you've seen from a previous video, is human immortality. 11 is the pillars, the Freemasonry pillars, Jachin and Boaz, but it's also a gateway. It's Janice's favourite number. It's 11. And 13, Friday the 13th, when so-called all the Templars got executed. Now can you see my point is 33 becomes such a number. Yes, there's all the things about the vertebrae in the spine and all that, and the 3 times 3 is 9. But I've showed you the black bean, I've showed you the connection with the tail, and all things lead to Rome in this video. It should just make you go, yeah, I can see what you're saying. I might not agree with it, but I can say it, to me, it's blown my mind away. The 3 days that the festival for the Lemuria festival to honour and cast out the demons is 9, 11 and 13, adds up to 33. Now I'm not going to talk about this too much, because people, if you talk about this, you generally get took off air. First 2 letters, 9, 11. We know what happened then. And the day they allowed the skies back open so the planes could fly was the 13th. 9, 11 and 13. Is that a coincidence? I'll leave that up to you. So, New York's always been famous for immigration and migration. It has, and here's a few pictures you can see above. Now, it's a gateway for the migration into the States. You have to go there first back in the day and then migrate inwards. So, what did I say is a number is a gateway? The number is 11. So think about it. 11 is a doorway, and I've mentioned it already so far. Guess what? New York became the 11th state in 1788. The New York quarter features 11 stars on the outline of the state, showing the Hudson River and Erie Canal, the Statue of Liberty, and a caption, Gateway to Freedom. Gateway to Freedom? The 11th state? And I've showed you 11 is a gateway number. That can't be a coincidence. I'm just like, no way could that be 11. And it's true. I found out New York is the 11th state. So there's an old video going around about a secret society that not many people have heard about. It's the Oculists. That's the name it was given to it. And I believe they've cracked a 250-year-old code showing you that there's a fraternity out there in regard to the eyes. The Oculists. Like opticians that we call them over here. Now, it's funny that they called that building in the World Trade Center that I showed you, it looks like a Venus flytrap, the Oculus. And there's also a lot of eye symbology in the train stations underneath and nearby, and that's what I wanted to tie in with this now. The Oculus, or Eye, is the title of the artwork installed all over the Chambers Street World Trade Center subway station. Created by Christian Jones and Andrew Ginzel, Oculus consists of 300 different eyes, all based upon actual New Yorkers' eyes, taken from the photographs and translated into stone mosaic by the classically trained Reynaldo Perez, and they say it survived 9/11. Well, there we go, guys. Ain't it creepy if all the eyes are watching you? Right, have a look at all the symbolism in the graffiti that's around the Oculus. You notice how many eyes, lizard people reference. Listen, just check out for yourself, you can see it. It's crazy, just all the symbolism in this graffiti that's around. We just rewind that a little bit. Check out. I'll pause it when it gets near it again. Now on the screen there, look at these two. Doesn't that look like the two towers coming down with the smoke? Doesn't that look like sperm or the archons, the parasites coming between two realities, the black holes, the two gateways? Notice how I was talking about two gateways, the Janus. And there you go. Obviously there is the Oculus. Right guys, can you see this picture? I hired it up before. I believe I called it Ishtar before, but there's many names. Astarte, you could use it for Inanna. I believe even Lilith has been banging around on the internet and they're using this picture for that purpose. Now what I want to do is, can I connect, and it's just one of my things, you can take it as a pinch of salt, can I connect Oculus to Venus, aka all them other names? And I believe it is slight, but I just found it interesting. I want to share it with you guys. So as you know, Oculus means eye, but obviously you're not going to get anything else from that. So let me do my little thing where I break it up, and as you can see, you have Oculus split up as Oculus, and in Latin it means OUL nobis. So I went and this is basically, I filmed this, not actually this one, but I filmed this in my Oculus video, but it's a bit smoother this way, so I redid it. So here we go. The OUL in Latin, OUL meaning obsolete form of owl. So Oculus being split up in, like I have, the first couple of letters mean owl. What is on the picture of the Venus alternate, meaning Ishtar or Inanna, is owls either side. Right? Anything else in New York that's famous in regarding that picture? And we have lions. Well, In New York, you have the famous Patience and Fortitude, the world-renowned pair of marble lions that stand proudly before the majestic Boroughs building on 5th Avenue. Remember the 5th for later. And 42nd Street in Manhattan have captured the imagination of New Yorkers visiting all over, forever. So you basically see these description I'm trying to get. There is a picture of Venus with owls either side standing on a lion. We have famous lion in New York, and owls. But what would have been even better, and it's not there now in census, James Gordon Bennett, Gordon Bennett in Outrageous is saying, he originally wanted a 200-foot tall owl mausoleum tomb. 200 feet tall. He wanted a giant owl, and he planned on getting it. Got the architects, got the designers, builders, and the architect got murdered or killed, and the plans got shelved. And what you ended up with as a memorial was the famous owls with the light, the eyes glow green at night. And I'll show you some pictures now. So that's what you got. But we would have got 200-foot tall owl in the mausoleum, sculpted or in bronze. I couldn't. There's no picture for it for obvious reasons, but that's what was planned. So I believe there's a little connection there, as you can see. A picture of Venus. Yes, it is Ishtar or Inanna, but they are one in the same. And you have a very famous link to owls and lions in regard to New York itself and everything else. I've included this just to show you that, there's something to my theory on Venus. So it got me thinking. I've mentioned Venus a lot, and I wanted to incorporate that more into New York. And when I was looking into Venus, obviously we think of the Venus, what you can see on the screen now, that the path of the star, the planet makes, and it creates a pentagram, or the 5 petals of Venus. Because as we know, the Venus appears in the east at sunrise, and then in the west at sunset, and it's one of the brightest stars in the sky. So that got me thinking, pentagram has 5 points, and then here's a path of Venus that you can see on the screen. So that got me thinking, 5 points. Oh yeah, 5th Avenue, a famous address in New York. Goes straight down the middle, the heart of New York, or Manhattan in a sense. And then you have 666, the famous address, and you have Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. I think they're trying to sell this. I'm not quite sure they were supposed to be getting done. But I've been talking about Venus in regard to water. Now on 5th Avenue, there was the Crompton Reservoir, or for the water. Now guess what is there now? The public library and those lions that I was talking about, that's on the spot. So that beautiful architecture has been took down, and the public library is there now. Now that got me thinking, 5 points. 5 points. Where have I heard 5 points before? And it's a famous part of New York, Manhattan, a map of 5 points neighbourhood. And that is famous because Scorsese made a film about it. Come out in 2003 and 5 again, called The Gangs of New York. So that is just a few little things on why 5 and the pentagram is in New York. So what if I could connect the nickname, the Big Apple, to Venus herself? You would be, wow, how can you do that? So I'm going to show you now, but there's been many names and reasons behind it in regard to, from an article from horse racing about giving big apples as prizes to jazz musicians. There's been loads of theories for it, but the one I'm concentrating on is this one here now. And it's probably the most famous of Greek apples in mythology, the apple of discord, the golden apple. And that basically indirectly cited the Trojan War. Eris, the goddess of discord, whom you've actually got a college named after her in New York, the Lawrence and Eris Field Building. And I'll show you a picture of that. Anyway, so the goddess of discord had not been invited to the wedding of Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. She became enraged, stormed into the wedding feast, and threw a golden apple onto the table, professing that it belonged to whomever was the furthest, with an inscription saying such on it. The goddess Hera, Athena and Aphrodite, who is Venus, all reached for the fruit. Zeus decided that the furthest man alive, Paris of Troy, would be the judge of the contest and determine who received the fruit. Hera promised him power if he picked her, Athena promised him wealth, and Aphrodite promised him the most beautiful woman alive. He chose Aphrodite, who is Venus, to receive the apple, and she told him that Helen of Sparta would be his wife. Unfortunately, Helen was already the wife of King Menelaus, and thus sparked the famous Trojan War. The apple of discord is the ultimate symbol of vanity, and it also represents the crux of the problem. Not only did the three goddesses in question all believe they were the most beautiful, but the series of events that followed quickly snowballed into a full-scale war beyond the realm of the Olympians and in the mortal world. At the centre of the war was the apple, and the simple gesture from Eris, and you had that college, remember, was not invited to the wedding, essentially because no one liked her and Zeus thought she would ruin the festivities for everyone. She ended up very well ruining the banquet. So I just thought that was fascinating that we're talking about apples and Venus and Aphrodite, and I'll even show you pictures of that. But what's also is interesting is this: the apple and the pentagram. The five-pointed star of the pentagram can be found at the core of an apple when it is cut horizontally. This is one of the reasons that many hold this fruit as sacred. And I've already shown you Venus as a five-pointed star. And then we have images of her now done in marble. So you can see why I'm thinking, is the big apple even named after that event? The big apple, the apple of discord, the golden apple. So Arthur Waite, oculist or occultist, I've got on the brain, and 33rd degree Mason, quotes Eliphas Levi, who is also 33 degree Mason, and he tells us that the letter G stands for Venus, and that the Venus symbol is a lingam, a stylized phallus, from 1909. I've never heard that before. I mean, this is a lingam, and it's associated with Shiva. And as we can see here, this is supposed to be a lingam, a modern stylized, modern art piece. So that is a phallus, a lingam, and this was done by Carol Bove or Bave, and she's from Geneva, Switzerland. Oh, what a surprise! Well, guess where it is, guys? Yep, it's in New York, but it's not just anywhere in New York. Those are the locations, and I'll just put it quickly on the map to show you. It's in City Hall, New York City Hall. It's in the gardens. So they have a stylized penis in the garden of City Hall. Remember me talking about the Chrysler beginning? It feels like forever ago. Well, look at the old logo for Chrysler, the Chrysler building. It's 5 stars. I mean, is there any coincidence that there's an order of the Eastern Star with the 5 points in Freemasonry? I mean, come on, it's like, it's not hard to see these things. It's crazy. I was like talking about the Chrysler building, and then I come across one of their old logos, and it's a 5-pointed star, and we're talking about Venus in regard to New York. And that's one of the most prominent buildings in New York. And then you have 5 points, and then you have Fifth Avenue. And now we have this, the Chrysler logo, in regard to the Chrysler building, the 5 points, the 5 star, the pentagram. So another pentagram in New York is the world's biggest independent design consultancy, and they're called Pentagram. I mean, come on. I mean, their offices are there, see with the red little line, it's just off Fifth Avenue. They used to be there, but look, one of the biggest clients, the Gates Foundation, invites 5 top designers to visualise global health, alive under 5. Yep, so Pentagram work with the Gates Foundation. They also work with Hillary Clinton. They helped to design, together with Pentagram partner Michael Beru, orders Jesse Reed, develop the core identity system for Hillary's Clinton 2016 presidential campaign. There you go, the H. So you can see the influence and the people these pentagram mix with. And they're in New York. The pentagram, the 5 points, not far from Fifth Avenue, and they used to be on Fifth Avenue actually. And I'll just show you that now. See, this is the Pentagram Design Office, pentagram, 5-pointed star, and this is just a brief little history on it. I'm not going to read it all out, but there's some interesting things in it, and I'll highlight that. So this is obviously someone talking about, when I joined Pentagram, we were located at 212 Fifth Avenue. Wait, 212, 2 add 1 is 3, add 2 is 5. So Pentagram, the 5-pointed star business, we're located at the 212 Fifth Avenue. You can't make that shit up. High above the corner of 26th and 5th, it was a beautiful space with large copper-clad windows and spectacular views. But it was a design years before the arrival of newest younger partner. So they got new partners, Michael Berry, who just talked about doing Hillary Clinton, and they needed a place of their own. And this is talking about every day on the way home, I would pass the remarkable building just steps away, just round the corner, 204 Fifth Avenue. It was once home to MK, an era-defining club that was just a few years earlier had opened in what was called West Chelsea. MK. It sounds like MK Ultra. So, you know, very, very weird. I just get my goosebumps go off when these people, I talk about these people. And it's basically talking how the building was designed by C.P.H. Gilbert, who was built in 1913. No relation to the architect of the Woolworth building, Cass Gilbert. So they're talking about how they moved from different places to different places and where they are now. And this is where they're called home. So you can see they're a design company. But what's funny is you can see 212 Fifth Avenue. Well, I believe it got turned into condos or whatever you want to call it. And look who owns some of them condos at 212. A breakdown of some of the major sales inside 212 Fifth Avenue, the luxury building where the Amazon billionaire just dropped 80 million. So you can see that's where they must used to have their offices. And Jeff Bezos basically bought 3 condos in this building. So you can see my point is how coincidentally some of these people are mixing and what company the second. You're telling me they moved from 212 Fifth Avenue. The Amazon billionaire buys 3 of the condos in there. It's a strange world. So I just thought this is a bit different. I wanted to make this video a bit different. Not just always New York and this is this and this. As you can see, it's full of everything. And finding out that it's related to Venus and the biggest world independent medium company is called Pentagram after the 5 stars. And the office was on 5th Avenue. It's just moved. But you can see why I had to show it. It's just too many coincidences not to show you guys. I'm going to be finishing in a minute, and I think I'll do a standalone on Central Park, but I had to include this. This is Christo and Jean-Claude on the way to the gates. This is Central Park, I believe 2005, and it was one of them outdoor arty things, and basically they covered Central Park in 7,503 orange gates, and we know obviously they call it orange, linked to Freemasonry and whatnot, but just look. And we know about the gates because I've done enough on Janice to show you, and archways are in Central Park, but they made 7,503, and those are the designers in Central Park. I mean, just look at the magnitude and obviously the ritual energy they'd be getting of these gates plastered in Central Park. I don't know if I'm going to include anything else, but my thoughts will be coming up soon. And like I said, I believe I might do a standalone on Central Park itself, because I've just, like I said, I've been on this a long time now, and I just you get to that stage where you just need to finish, because I'm just keep adding and adding to it. When do we stop? And I couldn't finish this film without showing you Captain America from 2011. I actually got the advertisements of Corona at the top left and what looks like a virus on the top right. Are they predicting anything? Well, look, they've even chose New York to actually do it. So this is where I'm going to finish now. I'm doing my thoughts. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, guys. I've really enjoyed making this, and I know I've left so much out, but you have to finish somewhere.
Yeah, they call me the Black Sheep. You know they call me the Black Sheep.
Hello, welcome. Right, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to be in the chat. Say hello. I don't bite much. And what can I say? I'm going to try and keep this under, say, 5 minutes. Because it's sunny out and I want to get some vitamin D. I want to get some, you know, brown skin on the chrome dome. And I won't get that from sitting here behind the computer. I'm sacrificing it, guys. I want to get out and get in the sun. I don't want to be behind the computer. So what do you think of that? You watch something on New York. It's totally different to what you're probably expecting. And hopefully the unexpected becomes expected on this channel. I didn't want to make it the same old, concentrate on this and this and this. I wanted to bring something fresh and new. I believe I've done that, hopefully. You guys will let me know. And then you had all the links with 11. You had Venus being the Statue of Liberty and Venus Kloshina, the purifier. Is she purifying the earth? Is she purifying the water? You have, what do they call now? Sites to clean your water really nearby to that statue too. So I believe there's something in that. Then I actually looked at turning the 5, you know, Venus into the star, the pentagram, and finding all the information that I did from 5 points to one of the most famous streets in the world, 5th Avenue. And then we had 666 5th Avenue and Trump's son-in-law, and I believe he's trying to sell that. I'm not quite sure if he has, of doing this. But just finding them links between that and the pentagram and the tie-ins to Bill Gates, Hillary Clinton, is them advertising the Alive Under 5. That just sounds so ritually based. So I had to do that differently. Yes, I was going to do about Central Park, but I could always come back to that. And that's the beauty of making the videos and you being the power to say, you know what, I'm stopping it here. There's far too much information as it is in this, and you guys won't remember all of it. I won't. That's why I film it, because I can keep it, because it's like a video diary. So we had all that. Even the naming of the Big Apple could be tied to Venus. And you know me, I never say it's fact. I just say, here's the information that I found. I'll leave it up to you guys to actually make a conform, you know, decision on what is going on. And I believe, you know what, I've done a good video here. I'm proud of it. Obviously there's people that might not like it, but there's nothing I can do about that. I'm making it for you great people who do enjoy the bit of different on this channel, because I'm never on one specific topic. Yeah, I might talk about Janice a bit, this a bit, but sometimes I'm combining years old video, because I've only been on here about 2 years officially, and that's a year and a half I've been making videos. So I'm bringing old videos into this, confining and squashing and molding it into other videos, and that's what I love. I love remembering, you know what, I've done a video on Lemuria, the Festival of the Dead. It was 9/11. I'm 13, that's 33. Is that why they chose the Twin Towers? The 11, the gateway, the state number 11. Janice's favourite number. It just makes you go, wow, and I can see why you've put it in. And this is just the beauty of it. And I have to say to you guys, I'm nearly up to my 5 minutes. Thank you. I get so many messages when I can get around to seeing different ones. A lot of YouTubers censoring a lot, we know this. But I'm so proud of you guys. And it's not just for the support, it's how you make people feel. Because you know what, it's like my house. When you come into my house, I treat you with all respect. I won't let no shit happen. If someone is calling someone, it doesn't matter if I believe them or not, I won't have it. So, and you make people feel so welcome in my house. And that is so humbling, and it's very rare on YouTube. And you guys know that. We have different walks of life, different types of people coming in. Some people have factions, and everyone leaves that at the door. And it's humbling. It is. It's better than making videos, because we have a little piece of you know, is it serenity in YouTube, and you guys have chose my channel for it all happen, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. So quickly, I've got a few seconds. I'm up to 5 minutes 20. Yeah, so what did you think? Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please leave your comments in the chat. If you even enjoyed it even more, please share it. Please my other channels. Guys, check out the Black Sheep Researcher. He's doing things a bit different. I'm proud of what the content I'm doing. Yes, it hurts me channel in the sense of I don't have a defining topic. I cover everything, and I cover everything and give every topic the respect it deserves. I don't call any community. We just get on with it and, you know, have a good time. And from finding out that the Statue of Liberty is Venus, to all the star and the Eastern Star, and even the Liberty itself looks due it's southeast, so it's looking in an easterly direction itself. Just wow. So I want to, you know, I'll be naughty and I'll make it a few more minutes. So I left everything out that I didn't think I could make into another video, and you guys are going to enjoy this video. Hopefully, please, if you enjoy it, just like it. I know it's hard because you don't want it all piling up in you like things, but it just makes me know that you guys are actually enjoying it. So hopefully, guys, you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you are like me and like, wow, that does make sense now that it is Venus, because we've obviously been compared to Apollo, Hecate. It should have been this, it should have been that. But when you look at it as a sense of Venus and seeing the different roles and effiats that she has, and the Venus Clochina, she's holding up what looks like a torch, the coin, she's got the crown. I'm like, no way, how have I not seen this before? And that's the beauty of this channel. Hopefully you see a lot of things you've not seen before, whether bad or good. So all that, the Big Apple could be in the Discord, the Golden Discord, and the Eris. You know, I'm just so excited to finally get it. I want to get out in the sun, because in the UK we call it's cracking the flags, and that means the pavement when it gets really hot. That's what we call it over here. So there you go, guys. Some etymology of northwest England, cracking the flags. Right, guys, I will be in the chat. Hopefully I'll get this done today and premiered. If not, well, we don't know when it'll get done, so I'm not telling you what day it is. It'll be a surprise. So take care. Always wear a smile, and please just pay it forward. And carry on doing what you're doing, supporting me. I'm just so humbled. Bye, guys, take care, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments.